Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a bit more of like a casual Q&A. We're still in quarantine, as I'm sure like pretty much all of you guys are. And here in New York it is currently April 9th, which I think is supposed to be the day that deaths peak here in the city. Living in the epicenter is definitely kind of crazy. It's just something that I feel like I haven't fully processed because it hasn't changed my life that much. Like, I already work from home, I love being home, and I'm still able to run my business. Obviously it's affected a lot of things, but I still have a job, which I'm so thankful for. But most people in my life don't right now. I definitely feel for all of you guys that are, you know, just dealing with all of this. Oh my gosh, the thunder is so loud. It's such a gloomy day today. I actually got dressed, but I'm just wearing like a sweatshirt and this skirt that I took advantage of the Totokayo sale for. I guess I'll also quickly announce that we restocked a lot of our most popular styles on my fashion brand's website, Stadsballett, and we decided to go ahead and move forward with that just because it's what we were planning on doing, and we now have the inventory and we paid for all the inventory, and we just thought that we should sell it, and we decided to donate 10% of the profits to a local organization here in New York City called Food Bank for New York City, the city's largest hunger relief program. And they've had such an influx of need since this whole coronavirus thing. Already 1 in 5 New Yorkers takes advantage of their programs, and last month we were able to help provide over 15,000 meals, so I'm hoping that we can maybe even top that this month. And thank you guys so much for any of your purchases or any of your support. It means so much to me and everyone else that's involved. Also, let's go easy on my appearance and my hair. It's wet right now, it's not greasy. I just showered. And yeah, my roots are pretty bad. I used to dye my hair myself years ago, but I haven't done that in quite a long time. But I'm probably going to do that at some point during this quarantine. I just ordered some root touch-up spray though, so maybe that will get me through. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to catch up with you guys in this video and also answer some questions that I've sort of been avoiding for like a year. I'm drinking this Recess. I'm working with them on Instagram soon. One of my few jobs at this time. So I asked for questions on Instagram, but I won't even pull them up yet. And I'll just get the big ones out of the way first. And I've just been getting so many questions about if Avery and I are still together. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar or if you even care, but I get a slew of questions every day about it for like the past year. And I've been getting a lot more than usual lately because people notice on social media that he's not in New York during this quarantine. It's getting darker. It looks like the apocalypse out there. But yes, Avery and I decided to end our romantic relationship about a year ago now, and I've been super hesitant to speak on it. I think just because Avery and I are both very private people. He's obviously not here with me right now to speak his side of the story either, although I think he would really dislike doing that because he's even more private than me. Both of us do share like our lives on social media, but not really any like personal details. Maybe the sound of the rain will be kind of calming. I don't know. But another reason that we were hesitant, I think, to speak on it is just because our personal relationship didn't change that much when we ended our romantic relationship. Avery and I have always been like super solid and had so much mutual respect and love for each other, and we were together for over 3 years. Before that we were friends, and then like in between the friends and being together it was, you know, in that like fuzzy period. But we've just always like actually really cared about each other, and that was a huge reason why we broke up. And I think that our relationship has actually improved a lot since we decided to end our romantic relationship, and I'm just so grateful that that is the case. A lot of questions on if he still lives here. No, he hasn't lived here in quite some time, although we did live together for several months after we decided to end our romantic relationship or break up. And that was totally fine because, like I said, we've just always been super solid with each other. We still like cooked all our meals together and slept in the same bed and went and did things together, and obviously we own our business Stadsballett together. A lot of questions on if that will be continuing, which I understand. Like thinking of any like past sort of relationships I had, which were nowhere near as serious as with Avery, but also just like thinking on friends relationships and other relationships that I've witnessed in my life, I understand why people would ask that. But it's kind of like asking if you would murder your child when you get divorced. Super morbid. And the business is my child. I would never murder it. I think if Avery and I had a kid, we would be like the best co-parents ever. And starting the business with him, I always knew that we would never, for lack of a better word, fuck each other over, just because we wouldn't do that to each other. I think another reason why I was hesitant to speak on this is just because I wanted some time to pass. I'm sure if I was like saying all this stuff to you guys like a month after we broke up, I'm sure I'd be getting a lot of comments about how we should just cut each other off and whatever if we broke up, which we never did. And I'm so happy that we did it. I think that we'll always be like each other's biggest supporters. I'm getting a little teary talking about this, and I knew that I would because I am such a big crier. I cry like every day, even when I'm not sad. But yeah, I'm just so grateful that I had Avery as like my first serious relationship, because it didn't leave like a sour taste in my mouth at all. I think we did a really great job at pushing each other in our career life and our personal life, and I pretty much experienced my entire like young adult life out on my own with him. And our relationship obviously changed a lot over time, but we were always like still very solid. Avery and I were like attached at the hip basically. Like I didn't really spend any time away from him when I was with him, and I don't think that has to do with our relationship changing at all, really, because like I said, even when we decided to split up, we still had so much love for each other, and I'm so glad that we still do. And yeah, like I said, we were both just quite private about it. We didn't even tell people like in our personal life that we know very well for quite some time. And I don't want to make this like come off as like me saying that breaking up wasn't hard, because it was still so hard. I think just more grieving like the future that you kind of had planned, but it was definitely the right decision for us. And like I said, I think our relationship is actually better now than it was towards the end of when we were together, and I think he would agree with me. I know he would agree with me. So there's that question answered. I know some people have also asked not necessarily if our business is ending, but if anything has changed. And honestly, things haven't really changed. Our business has grown a lot in the past year, which I'm so thankful for. I feel like we were breaking up like right when things were like super on the uptick, and it just made everything kind of stressful. But I would say not that much has really changed. I know in like vlogs and stuff, people see me doing a lot of the more like operational back end kind of things, but it's always been that way. And Avery's always done a lot more of like the techie graphic design stuff like that, because that's what he's very skilled at. But also he's been working on a shoe project for a couple years now, and it's about to release this month on April 24th, and I'm so excited for him. It's vegan footwear. I don't have my pair in my size here yet because he's had a lot of delays with this whole coronavirus thing, but I am so excited for him. I will leave some information down below if you guys are interested in checking it out. But that's kind of been his primary focus and passion project for the last couple years, like I said. And I also get questions about like him not really posting that much on social media anymore, and it's because he's super busy with other stuff. Yeah, I feel weird speaking for him, so I won't any longer. I also get questions about if I have a new boyfriend, and I do. but you probably won't see him on here anytime soon, or maybe ever. Like I said, I just am a more private person. I know you see like his arm or his hand on my Instagram story sometimes. I've been with him for about 6 months. Another reason why I felt like I had to address this is I was getting some kind of angry messages accusing me of cheating on Avery, which never. I genuinely would never do that to anyone. So I feel like I kind of have to set that straight. I'm not really the type of person that has to set things straight, but I kind of have to set that straight. But yeah, just dealing with this breakup and seeing how many like messages I get about it on a regular basis. If it was a bad breakup, I would have absolutely lost it. And I don't think anyone meant poorly. I think most people didn't, at least. But yeah, I would have lost it. So that's that. I feel like that was the majority of this video, but I'm gonna answer some other questions now. Just a lot of questions about how I'm feeling in general during this quarantine period. It's definitely up and down for sure, but I feel like I'm also feeling like super grateful, and sometimes I feel like I'm kind of thriving. Like I am a more introverted person. I'm not totally alone. Like I said, I do have a boyfriend and we don't live together. I live here alone, but he is basically my neighbor and we're not seeing anybody else but each other. So we have been spending a lot of time together. But I am just such an introvert and a homebody naturally. And I feel like I'm using this time to catch up and do a lot of things that I otherwise don't have time for. And it's been really lovely to kind of slow down and take a step back. Obviously, this entire situation is incredibly tragic and I'm not trying to downplay that at all. But I think it's important to try to have a positive outlook, at least for me. Staying productive is super important for me. I've seen a lot of posts going around about how you don't have to be productive during this time, which I totally agree. You should do whatever feels best for you, but for me, that is like such a coping mechanism. Like I will go crazy if I am just chilling. Like I can't do that. Plain and simple. So I think it's about like finding what's best for you and really settling into your home and making it your own sanctuary in whatever way that you can, even if it's not the most comfortable living situation. What can you do to make it more comfortable? I'm like a very action focused person. Like if something's bothering me, I want to fix it right away rather than dwell on it. So kind of my ideals regarding this whole situation. Entertainment wise, what have I been doing? I've been reading a lot. I'm currently reading Middlesex and also The Atomic Habits, and then I have The 4 Agreements as well right here. But I have quite a lot of other books on my list. I did a little blog post, so I'll link it. Excuse me. I'll link it down below. I just finished all of Succession, which was really good. I would love any like Netflix, Hulu, HBO recommendations from you guys. Cooking and baking a lot, which I love. The beginning of this year, before all of this, I was eating out quite a lot. I am super into restaurants and food, so that's just something that I allow myself to spend money on. And I try to generally make it like only if it's a nice restaurant and like a nice experience. Like I don't just eat out for no reason. But I feel like I'll be even more so on that train after all of this, because you can make such delicious food at home, obviously for much more affordable prices. I ended up getting a lot of questions actually about if I've ever had body image problems and just related to that, and yeah, absolutely. I think everyone has. I feel like when I was younger, I didn't actually have that many body image problems, and then like 19 to 21 they were the worst, and now I'm like more in a good place, but I definitely still have issues from time to time. I find that just when I'm like actually taking care of my body is when I'm in the best place, so, and just being kind to myself, you know. I also got several questions about advice regarding just like starting a business in general. Obviously I don't know what kind of business you want to start, but I actually think now is like the best time to be ideating. Obviously money is tight right now, and I'm not saying that you should invest a lot of money into things, but you can get creative and find different ways to put your plan into action. And I think it's actually best to start with smaller investments rather than big ones and grow your business a bit more slowly. A lot of research is also important. I love listening to entrepreneurs that I look up to. There are so many different podcasts and resources online. For me, I read a lot of business related news as well. And I think also surrounding yourself with like-minded and goal-oriented people can be really helpful. While there's nothing wrong with having a good time, if you're hanging out with people that just like constantly go out and have fun and be drunk, whatever, it's really difficult to focus on having your own business, especially when it's like not making any money yet and it doesn't seem like a legitimate thing. So I think now really is the best time to start. And I feel like if it's something that you want to do, it's something that's already inherently in you and you can do. Someone asked, how do you think, or do you think our consuming habits will change post-pandemic? I've been reading a lot about this. It's really hard to say, obviously. I have my own little case studies from studying like my affiliate links that I share with you guys on here, and also with my own business. Obviously, when money is tight, I think people's spending becomes a lot more conscious, which is super important anyways. I've seen a lot of stuff about how like now is the perfect time for fashion to restart and become sustainable, which personally that sounds a little too optimistic for me. Like there's so many brands right now that are not paying their factories, which is completely absurd. I think it totally depends on the brand, but I think a lot of people will be cutting corners more than they already do. And obviously I think consumer spending will be down to a certain extent. With our personal business, just to share some insights, when this all first started, like sales tanked, but then after a couple weeks in, we started seeing them go back up again. And I've read that about a lot of other businesses as well. I think it's just kind of going to be a cycle until we have some more certainty on this entire situation. Someone asked what I would call this stage of my life, and then they also asked about like goals and where I see myself in the future. I think that's a fun question to ask. I feel like this stage of my life is just kind of like setting everything up in the future for success. I feel like I'm really in adulthood now. Like I have a home that I really love that feels like an adult home. I've been financially independent from my parents since I moved out, so that's nothing new to me, but I just feel a lot more financially secure, I guess, than I did when I was younger. I have a meeting with a financial advisor this week to try to get everything set up and in place. I'm trying to save to possibly buy property. I say possibly because I don't really know exactly where I want to live. Like obviously it would be like the dream to own property in the city, but that's quite a high goal. Even in like my neighborhood where property is a bit more affordable. I don't know, I feel like I'm approaching the point of being ready to like settle down, or at least my definition of settling down. Like I love what I do for work so much. Getting rid of that does not relate to settling down at all, but at least at this point in time I do envision myself being a younger mom. I just turned 23 and I would like to have a kid before I'm 30, but also like you can't really plan these things. But I feel like it's important, at least for me. Like I said, I like to have at least a bit of structure and I want to, you know, set myself up for success. I can see myself having a kid in the next 7 years. So much has changed in the first 5 years that I lived in New York. I feel like that was a lifetime away, and a lifetime of changes and growth. I ran out of memory, but I would say this is a really lovely transitional period in my life where I'm feeling pretty secure in myself. That's nice, because for a while I wouldn't say that I was feeling that way. Everything felt very uncertain, especially like starting the business and like investing my entire savings into it. After investing most of my savings into going to college, which didn't end up being like exactly the path that I wanted to take, I ended up getting an associate's degree, not finishing my bachelor's degree, and I am so thankful I dropped out and had the insight to realize that it was that was best for me at that time, because a lot of people were not happy with me over that decision. But yeah, I'm super excited for the future. I would love to get a dog soon. Oh my gosh, I'm dying for a puppy or a dog. It would have to get approved with me living in this apartment, but I'm thinking maybe I should travel a bit more first. I definitely have so many people in my life that would be stoked to take care of a dog. So I know I could still travel, and I also like work from home, like I said. It's pretty easy for me, but I need one. But yeah, I think this video is probably rambly enough. I really didn't answer that many questions, so I'm sorry, but I think I answered the biggest ones. I'm still nervous to post this, but I really appreciate everyone's understanding and kindness, because I probably won't talk about a lot of the stuff I talked about in the beginning of this video ever again. But I hope you guys are having the best day that you can during this time, and I will see you super soon with a new video. Bye.